Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I've got another video on Steve Reeves, and this time it's the 1948 Mr. World competition. After Steve's second place finish in the 1948 Mr. Universe, you can see that video elsewhere on this YouTube channel along with the actual second place Mr. Universe trophy. Oscar Heidenstam, publisher of Health and Strength magazine and the father of NABA, who helped form the National Amateur Bodybuilders Association, Oscar had placed third in the Universe Tall class. Oscar suggested that Steve come with him to France to compete in the 1948 Mr. World competition, which was held on August 16th, 1948. After some thought, Steve agreed, and the two took a boat ride across the Channel to Calais, France, where they then took a train to Cannes, France. This is about a 9-hour train ride. Oscar spoke fluent French, so that certainly made things easier. At the Mr. World contest, Steve was awarded first place and Oscar won fifth. After the contest, Oscar returned to England and Steve was forced to stay in France for additional time. I'm going to read at this part a passage from George Helmer's book, A Moment in Time. I've mentioned this book in a couple of other videos. Highly recommended. You may be able to find it on Amazon or eBay or at stevereeves.com. Although Steve originally planned on being in Europe a total of 10 days, he was forced to extend his stay in France by 4 days due to not procuring ship passage back to the USA. It was the end of August and the transatlantic ships were already filled with Americans returning home after vacationing in Europe. After Oscar left, Steve had no one to interpret for him, so Steve ventured out on his own. He made the most of his time on the French Riviera by relaxing in the sun, swimming, and running on the beach. He managed to get his 3 square meals per day using good old Yankee know-how. Every morning he walked to a local cafe and ordered a cheese and mushroom omelette, the only dish he knew how to order in French. For lunch he would go to the fruit stand and point at the piece of fruit and hunk of cheese that he wanted. Dinner got a bit boring for Steve, who only knew how to order filet mignon and salad. He finally did meet a young man named Pierre who helped him translate French to English. One local custom he especially enjoyed was that on several occasions while he was lying on the beach with his eyes closed, a beautiful young lady would stroll by him, stoop down, and plant a big kiss on his lips. This happened several times, and Steve never complained, not once. Finally, he was able to book passage to New York on the SS America, a passenger ocean liner. He boarded the ship on August 27, 1948, and said au revoir to France and its beautiful ladies. As was the custom at the time, the ocean liners always sent a telegram ahead to New York with the list of passengers. They always listed the celebrities who were aboard so the press could meet them when the ship pulled into the port of New York. Sure enough, a phalanx of press and photographers were waiting as Steve arrived with his handsome Mr. World trophy in hand. After several interviews and many photos, Steve hailed a cab and headed for the airport and his flight to San Francisco. As soon as he arrived in San Francisco, he headed to Oakland for a 2-week visit with his mother and stepfather. So that comes from A Moment in Time by George Helmer. Now here's a look at the actual Sevres Vase that Steve won in addition to the trophy at the 1948 Mr. World Bodybuilding Contest. This vase was presented by the King or President of France. I'm not sure which. I've seen both versions. So either the King of France or the President of France presented Steve with this actual trophy on stage. As soon as he walked off stage, Steve said to Oscar Heidenstam something to the effect of, "What am I supposed to do with this vase?" Oscar explained to Steve the value and prestige of the vase and that at the time it was worth around $300. That was in 1948, 70 some odd years ago. The porcelain vase is 17 inches tall and weighs around 7 pounds. It's cobalt blue. Sevres is one of the principal European porcelain manufacturers. It's located in Sevres, France. It is a continuation of Vincennes porcelain, founded in 1740, which moved to Sevres, France in 1756. It has been owned by the French crown or government since 1759 and has always maintained the highest standards of quality. Almost immediately, it replaced Meissen porcelain as the standard setter among European porcelain factories, retaining this position until at least the 19th century. Sevres Ceramics is supported by the French Ministry of Culture. The history of Sevres porcelain spans over 2 centuries. Today they produce only limited batches as replacements or for official use. Sevres was a popular factory for the commission and production of royal and diplomatic gifts, and that's probably why Steve Reeves was presented with this vase, as well as for direct purchases by royal families and the aristocracy. Marie Antoinette was an early supporter, ordering vase garnitures, teawares, and dinner services. Monarchs and leaders across the Western world looked to France for their important commissions and major purchases. Catherine the Great ordered a fabulous service from Sevres in 1776, but it was eventually delivered to her lover, the Prince Grigory Potemkin, in 1779. Steve's friend George Helmer indicated that Steve valued its beauty until the day he died. Well, I apologize if I mispronounced any of these French words, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you enjoyed this piece of bodybuilding history. Make sure you subscribe and hit that little bell notification so that when I come out with a new video, you'll get an email alerting you. If you have any comments and questions below the video, I'd love to hear them. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you next time.